And welcome back, everyone, to Who Would Win? The week Who Would Win still. It's the Battle of the Clowns! We got Piedmon from Digimon, the original series, and I think he showed up in the newer version of 01. And then Pennywise, the dancing clown. Like I said, Pennywise is at this point a freaking elder statesman of the series. We know what Pennywise is. Pennywise is something called a glimmer from the Macroverse outside of our universe. While we don't know what Pennywise's true form is, it's believed to be the Deadlights seem to be a part of its true form. That being said, it does seem to be an actual creature that Pennywise is, but we can't perceive it. That said, Pennywise's preferred form is that of Pennywise, the dancing clown. That is because a part of Pennywise landed in Derry, Maine. It is essentially an extension of himself. And he wakes up every 23, I believe it's 26 or 27 years. I can't remember how long he stays awake for. That's the thing. I know it's like a few months at a time or something like that. Eats his fill of kids, goes to sleep, does the whole cycle over again. Pennywise is an eldritch horror that is capable of many different things, including a certain level of reality warping, illusions, mental manipulation, being able to pull your fear out of your head, basically able to read your mind more or less. Is capable of regeneration, is exceptionally intelligent and deadly. Pennywise is also susceptible to, just courage in general. Anyone being brave enough to try to overwhelm him can overwhelm him in theory. He's not infallible and can be defeated by more powerful beings himself. He's not the top dog in his universe. I believe it's the Crimson King is more powerful than him, at least at one point. And Maturin was his equal. Plus, I believe there's another character that outranks them as well. At least a couple characters outrank him. So Pennywise is not all powerful, but still exceptionally powerful. Piedmon. Piedmon is a Mega level Digimon. Now, Mega is among the highest levels you can get, but there are, I think, 1 or 2 levels beyond that. But those are exceptionally rare to reach. Piedmon is a humanoid Digimon who takes the form of essentially like a jester clown. He is a virus type, which means he's generally not a nice individual. He's only ever been portrayed as villainous. Piedmon is also capable of going toe-to-toe with other Mega-level Digimon, which means he's capable of going toe-to-toe, for example, with War Greymon. War Greymon, for example, is capable of literally forming a giant F-off energy orb the size of a building that can literally devastate an entire, island. He can wipe out an island on his own. So Piedmon was able to actually solo War Greymon when he needed to. So we know Piedmon is exceptionally powerful. Piedmon also has a wide array of abilities, including being able to shoot electricity from his fingers. His Trump Sword attack basically summons the 4 swords from the box on his back, which you can't see it, but there's actually a box of swords in. And basically doing a magic trick to make the swords appear in his opponent. He can also just use 1 sword at a time to make that happen. He can use multiple different forms of illusionary disguises, magics, disguise himself as someone, or as he did with the Adventure gang, turn them into dolls. He's exceptionally powerful, very cunning, very deceitful, and very powerful. But like anyone else, he could still be beaten. He was beaten by Magna Angemon by being sucked into a gate and being just erased from the. I don't know how he was killed per se, or if he was just trapped. Basically, Magna Angemon opened up a gate, sucked him into the gate, and then the gate disappeared. I don't know if he was crushed by energies or just trapped in a different dimension, but yes, he was effectively defeated. So, in a fight clown to clown, who wins? Let's say that the Digimon world is encroaching on our world. Piedmon winds up in Derry, Maine, causing havoc, and he runs into Pennywise, and Pennywise runs it in. And they probably pause, and Piedmon probably muses, "My word, you're not human, are you? A Digimon, perhaps? But I've never seen your kind. What would you call yourself? And Pennywise is just kind of looking at him, saying, "Oh, not much of a talker. Well, never you mind. Go about your day. I'm busy just having some fun." It's just stabbing people, or, I'm saying, "Go away. They're mine. They're on mine." I'm sorry, my friend, but you have to share your humans after all. As I said, and he just kind of turns a bit into like the giant spider. Go away! It's like whoop. It's like my words, crabby, aren't we? Always out interacted. I can't tell. It's like yes, and now Pennywise is probably on the offensive, and he's trying to get into his mind. But here's the problem. With more powerful beings, Pennywise is a lot more cautious. Because these are, for example, Maturin is roughly an equal to him just on the form of creation. He's a being of consumption and destruction and death. Maturin the turtle is a being of life, creation, and so forth. But with other beings too, it's difficult to say whether or not he can have the same effect and influence on, say, a digital life form. Because that's what Digimon are. They're digital life forms. They are living beings that technically have flesh and blood, at least in their in concept, but they are made up of different things. Even if he can influence Piedmon, what is Piedmon actually afraid of? And like that Pennywise can manifest as, I should say. That's the tough question to answer. Because Piedmon really wasn't afraid of the. I mean, he found him a threat, to be sure, but he was not a. He wasn't inherently afraid of them. At least not in the same sense. Maybe he sees they did just show up, but even if he did, he wouldn't be like, no. He'd be like, oh, good, I can kill you now. Like, but maybe they're not dying. Why aren't you dying? The problem is also Piedmon is very intelligent, so if he saw them like these kid illusions show up and just stabs them, and it's like, is that all you got, Piedmon? Like, he quickly asks, you're not the Digi-Destin. And just swipes her off. Are you done, clown? I must admit, that was a good joke until it was no longer funny. And it's like, I'll kill you. All of a sudden, he's got the sword just sticking in. It's like, you killed me. Well, I could always use another little jack in the box, and just throws the handkerchief over and grows big. Pennywise tries to transform, but just gets turned into the jack in the box. Now, that being said, I don't think he would stay a jack in a box. Like, for example, Pennywise, I think, is powerful enough to maybe get out of said effect. But again, we just don't know what the cause and effect of other magical capabilities are on Pennywise. So, I say that, but I say it wouldn't last. But I think the other catch-22 of this is the fact that Piedmon just isn't someone he can exploit fear off of. And particularly, like, fear of himself. Pennywise isn't just fear he feeds off, it's fear of him. So, like, he could maybe take advantage of, like, say, the mass riots around him, start maybe murking some people and scaring them to get some strength back. But it's a battle of attrition I don't think Pennywise is going to do very well in. Pennywise is, as we've seen a lot of times in these Who Would Wins, Pennywise is a character that isolated in his own world with no one to really try to challenge him for like a level of power. He's the top dog. But the minute you throw a contender in there, it becomes he's not a character designed for a fight is the problem. He's a horror movie villain. Like most of the horror movie villains are not characters designed for fights. They're designed to kill kill the no-names and then try to go after the main characters, either eat them or kill them or whatever. And then they get to come up. The minute you throw them into fights with individuals of comparable stats or greater stat or just wider stats, then you kind of see them for what they are a little bit, and it's not a very strong character in the terms of like a versus world. And even though technically speaking, Pennywise has more on his side in terms of abilities, they're all dependent on, the individual having some level of fear of him. Now, the one thing we do need to address, though, is the Deadlights, because the Deadlights are the minimal part of him, or, they are him. The Deadlights, obviously, are three glowing lights that, if a living being were to stare at them, can either cause mass insanity, or you'll just drop dead. The question is, could that work on Pennywise? Because in essence, the reason the Deadlights work, and I don't know if it's ever truly explained in the books, but the concept is essentially like Eldritch Horror. you're looking at something that's not supposed to be. Your mind can't comprehend what you're looking at, and so you either are driven insane or you're killed. That's how that works. And so, the question is, how does it work on someone like Pennywise? Because once you get to individuals who have seen shit way worse and way more messed up than Pennywise, like for example, I got another Pennywise one coming up in the coming months. I got another one for Pennywise coming up soon. The individual he'd be facing, I'm not sure the deadlights would work in the same way they'd work on a normal person because of who that individual is and what they've experienced. That's the problem with throwing someone like it's in his world, it's pretty much a normal world. You just throw supernatural shit in it, and these people aren't used to it. You throw them into a world full of digital beings, they're like, ho-hum, I've seen worse on a Tuesday. Like, that's kind of how it works. I'm not saying Piedmon might not be affected on some level. He might, amazing, just so beautiful. Look at you, you hairy little freak. And just throws a sword into one of the lights, piercing the light. That might work, too. I don't think anyone's actually ever tried to damage the deadlights. At least I don't think they have. And ultimately, I think this will just come down to, again, him doing the magic and turning him into a jack-in-the-box or a doll, and this time the effect's sticking. Because eventually, Pennywise is just going to either have to retreat, to which Piedmon's like, you're not going anywhere, my fellow circus act. Now then, time for the final performance. I feel like Piedmon is just one of those individuals that Pennywise really wouldn't be able to do much against. Not to say that Piedmon would just completely dominate him. Like, when Pennywise is first going at him, transforming into, like, say, the giant insect form or whatever form he transforms into, I think that would still be problematic. Especially if Piedmon got hit by that, it would still hurt. Like, Piedmon's not infallible. But Piedmon is just, he's a different type of beast. There's certainly individuals that Pennywise can beat, and I'm pretty sure I've done individuals Pennywise has beaten before. But Pennywise is just, he's not cut out for fights usually, especially with individuals who have dealt with far worse than him. Like, you know what it is? I think I did another one in a speed run. I think I did it. And if I didn't, I'll have to do it at some point. Oh, no, I remember what I did. I did Pennywise versus Tom Bombadil at one point. Like, that's like as about as human as you can kind of, well, Tom Bombadil's not human, but still, it's like, I did like him versus Tom Bombadil, and it was kind of like fights like, oh, Tom Bombadil is a merry fellow with his boots off, his jacket is yellow. And it's like Pennywise being like, oh, hello there, Mr. Clown. It's like, what are you? Like, you can't get like scared of this guy at all. It's like, and in his domain, Tom Bombadil is boss. So, like, he's kind of screwed at that point. But against more human foes, like say with Michael Myers or a Leatherface, he definitely has the better chance. This is just not one of those fights I think he's really well equipped to handle. Especially when you're dealing with someone who's kind of just as malicious, if not more than him in some levels. Although he's not eating children, Piedmon. I'll give him that. Until then, though, I go Piedmon. Who do you got? Battle of the Clowns. Till then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next time.